Hey everybody, Prepper Nurse One here. I wanted to do a video on if you have a bug out location, and in a worst case scenario, when you have your plans, you're going to get to your bug out location. I want to use the example of what just happened down in Atlanta, Alabama, all down through the South, in the Carolinas, and we're just going to use Atlanta for an example. I'm sure everybody's been watching the Weather Channel and seeing what's happening. It's all over the news. How they're stranded on the highway and everything's congested, and people are having to sleep in their cars, and and all that, and that they have buses out there where the kids are on the buses, and they got the National Guard now taking food and everything out there. Now this is just people driving home from work, and the weather went so bad real quick, and they just got locked in with the congestion and stuff like that. Now let's do a worst case scenario where it's some kind of a disaster and people are scattering and trying to get out of the city in suburbia and heading out on the highways. And you have your retreat that you're going to go to, and you have your way that you normally would get there, which is the highways and the fastest way. Well, maybe that might not be the best way. Having alternate routes to get to your destination is very, very smart thing to have. I know at least 3 or 4 different ways that I can get to my property, that I don't have to take the main highway, that I can use other routes to get there. So, I mean, knowing other options to use to get to where you want to go instead of just going the fastest, directest route, because that might not be the best route, jumping on the highway when everybody else and their brother's on the highway. And then you have, just look at, people running out of gas. They're in their cars and they're not going anywhere, and who knows how much gas they have, and maybe they're running out of gas, and now you're sitting in a tin can, and it's cold weather. Now down there in Atlanta, those people are not prepared for winter or cold weather like we are up here in the north, and so maybe they jumped in their car in their flip-flops and shorts, and thought, well, it's a little storm and I'm just going around the corner here to this place, so it's no big deal. Well, now you're stuck in traffic, and now what are you going to do? So those things, you really need to think about that, and any time you have these hurricanes come through and the people are all trying to get out at the same time, you're having issues, and again, people are running out of gas and not having enough gas, and you can't buy gas because it's all gone. I mean, those are things that people don't think about. You're not prepared for it, and I don't understand it, because I think of all those contingencies. I have, like I said, I have more than one way to get to where I need to go. And eventually I will be living at my retreat by, like I said, hopefully by the end of this year. So that's going to be home. There's no bugging out for me. I'm bugging in, because that's where I plan on living. So, but the thing is, if I'm at work, now I got to get there. I know that my mom and the kids would be safe because they'll be there. But it's just, how do I get there as fast as possible? So, those are things that you have to think about. And having more than one way to get to your destination is very smart, prudent thinking. Always think ahead. Always think of plan A, plan B, plan C, and plan D. I mean, you always have to plan for the unimaginable of happening. We don't know, any of us, people can say, oh, I'm getting ready for this or I'm getting ready for that, which is fine. But you don't know what it's going to be, what the event is going to be, and how people are going to react to it. Panic and people being afraid, and it's scary with a lot of different things that could happen. And I mean, and I don't want to sound like a gloom and doomer, because I'm really, really not. I'm a really positive person, and I try to stay positive. But you prepare for the worst and you hope for the best. That's a philosophy that I have going way, way back. You try and stay positive. You enjoy life. Do the things in life and go on your vacations and do what you got to do. But again, you prepare, you get yourself ready for whatever's going to happen. And we never know when it's going to happen. I mean, one day it can be perfectly normal, the next day the lights could go out and never come back on again. You don't know. So, like I said, if you have a plan, if you have a bug out retreat, if you have an affiliation with some people and you have your group, have monthly meetings. Get together on a regular basis. Talk about your plans, what you have as a group that you plan to do together. Have a food stock available. Be smart. I mean, don't just say, well, if something happens, I'll just do this, or if something happens, I'll just do that. That's not a plan. Having something down, and then the worst case scenario happens, you don't have to think about it. You just react. Okay, I know I'm going here. I know that I'm going to do this. If I can get to this location, I'm going to be safe because I'm going to be with my group. You know, these are things that you need to think about now. So getting off base again, like I always do, but you know, like I said, using the examples of what we see in just everyday stuff that goes on, like what's happening down in Atlanta right now, you know, with the gridlock, use that as an example of what's going to happen in a worst case scenario. Now magnify that maybe by the whole country. Everybody's trying to get out when some of them have no clue where they're getting out to. You know, have a plan. Know your alternate routes and how to get to your property, to your retreat. You know, be smart. Think. You know, don't just react. Think. And if you have a plan in place and you know what you're going to do, there's no stress. You know where you got to go. You know where you need to get to, and you just do what you got to do. So, just a quick video on that. You know, like I said, I like to try to use things that happen in everyday life, and this is obviously the latest thing that's happening. You know, they had the ice storm coming up the coast for, you know, South Carolina, North Carolina, and everything like that too. And those people are not prepared for that down there because they don't normally get that kind of weather. So, you know, like I said, you always got to think ahead. Always got to be ready. You know, nobody knows what's going to happen. All right. Well, thank you for listening. I appreciate it. Prepper Nurse 1 out for now.